What is wrong with you?
No, I didn't even car.
No, yeah. What?
Get some man.
You must get up. You must get for your safety. For your safety.
Pretty obvious. Someone dressed up, of course, as a Nazi. I guess a random one. He doesn't have the Hitler mustache on, so at least it's not a particular main Nazi, just a foot soldier style Nazi. He walked into this Fanelli Cafe in Soho, and he wore that costume and got talked down, shouted out, and kicked out of the bar. Let's keep it real. So this trend of people dressing up as Hitler and Nazis for Halloween, I don't know, maybe it's always been there and just we don't have social media to point it out every time. But there was also another man that dressed up as Hitler specifically this time outside of a Halloween party at the University of Madison in Wisconsin. There's some images of this guy. Let's check him out. I'm not sure. Again, these are images. These are still images. So I'm not sure if he looks confused in that picture on the right. Like, why are you guys mad at me? What did I do? It's Halloween. I'm sexy Hitler. I'm not sure what the expectation was. But if you're gonna come out there looking like this, expect to get punched in the face. Sorry, maybe I'm in a bad place today. But that's what you're asking for, right?
I would say right, Jayar. Honestly, I think we should treat Nazis that way, even when they're not dressed up like that. That's my belief on the matter. And listen, they took the idea of wearing a spooky, scary Halloween costume way too far. Like that's just, it's not even fun anymore when people start doing stuff like this, let's be real. But I truly believe we should treat Nazis exactly how they were treated in that bar all the time, in costume or not.
Well, there's a thing, I think because they've been so used to now, it's been long enough of social media becoming a normal thing and people being able to anonymously or even directly using their own face to say horrific things and spread hate and violence like this, that they think, hey, I can take this out to the streets, and they think real life is what they are doing on Twitter now. Speaking of Twitter, this is why they think so. After Elon Musk decided to finally walk into the offices and strip away all kinds of protections for folks. Let's look at this graphic. The N-word use on Twitter rises by 500% after Elon Musk took it over. You know that freedom thing, right? Who's it? It's freedom for who? Because the folks that don't want to be targeted and don't want violent, racist things to be said towards them, and then the other platform says, good job. Do those people's rights count? I think what he's talking about is, I'm here for the racists. And the racists, of course, did this as a test run, everything to make sure, can I use the N-word yet? I found myself down a rabbit hole on Twitter, and I didn't even realize that it had been lifted yet. The whole thing about not being able to say a bunch of hate speech had been lifted yet. And I saw a lot of it. And I'm not surprised at all about the 500% increase. I think I saw it in like 4 tweets, 500% increase. So here's some finding from this a group called the Network Contagion Research Institute about this. The NCRI also found that the barrage of racially derogatory tweets like the N-word has come from anonymous trolls looking to, quote, test the limits of Twitter since Musk's purchase, with users on 4chan encouraging others to, quote, amplify derogatory slurs, all in the name of free speech. Just a few minutes ago, I showed one of the Nazis that was posting about that Kanye was right about Jews on the side of a building, and he was very happy about it. So the same kind of playground nature is happening on Twitter. They think it's just fun and funny, and then at the same time, they're also fomenting this hate and anger, and they think they can pass this off as just, hey, we're having fun, it's just a word. And then once the violence starts happening, then they'd be like, look at all this that's happening to us, as they continue to initiate it. It's not just the racism towards black folks, it's also anti-Semitic hate. Again, the same thing that happened in Los Angeles. Look at this picture. Kanye's right about the Jews, Goyim.tv, and all them stupid people there. This is where we are. This is where we are. But if someone says, we're not gonna take this garbage anymore, they're the bad guys. Right. I'm one of those people.
We have a history, even with the First Amendment, freedom of speech. We have a history of never protecting hate speech, and that hate speech is not something you can do in this country. And I'm not confident that our Supreme Court will uphold that precedent And we're in unprecedented times. It's time to be setting new precedents as the Supreme Court, where when you have a billionaire with a particular political agenda buying Twitter, which is the public square, we have so many monopolies and so much consolidation of corporations that have outsized power over markets and by extension outsized power over people and our politics. It's time to set a precedent that if, hey, a billionaire takes over this corporation that people use to communicate and spread information, and they're using it to spread hate speech, we should maybe hold that billionaire accountable. There should be a class action lawsuit against Elon that goes to the Supreme Court that sets a precedent that no one should have this much power over our politics, over speech, or over anything in our country. And it's the same thing that I said on Friday on the Power Panel. The bird is not free. The bird's been purchased and is now owned by a racist billionaire. That's where we are in our country.
And it matches with the way we've always done it. Put our trust and our, honestly, lives and money in the hands of these folks just because they've gamed the system or inherited enough, long enough that we're supposed to praise them. Are you guys followers of Jesus or are you followers of Elon? If you switch the name in some of these tweets, you may not know the difference. Just point that out if you guys pay attention to some of it.